Chaksurunmilitam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapara Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha. Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatang Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Saavadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitangscha Nama Srestam Manuapi Sachiputra Trasrupam Rupam Tasya Graja Madhupurim Maturim Gostavatim Radha Kundam Giribharamaho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Jasya Pratita Kripa Sri Gurun Tanmatosmi Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Himabhadivyascha Visundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Hare Krishna. Some question?
We have a question from our online viewer. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Kalyana Kalpataru, poem 2, has given a very nice expression. And there are 2 shlokas in Sanskrit. Shall I read them?
Mm-hmm. Can you read them?
I'm a little bit nervous, so.
Okay, calm down.
Oh, okay.
Take a deep breath. And sound it out.
Sound it out.
It's in Sanskrit or Bengali?
Kalyani Kalpataru, is it in Sanskrit or Bengali?
Uh-huh.
I think he's reading
Bengali.
Then it would be Tanoi.
Tanoi. Tanoi anite brikha e karaka shamana nashilo ihara shopashuno sadhujana tomara sakala haoi ye brikhera mali shraddhabari diya puna koro purashale. I brought a wish-fulfilling tree, the Kalyana Kalpataru, down to this world from the spiritual sky. As I was bringing it down, it lost some of its beauty. But if you water it, take care of it, and give it good nourishment, it will reveal itself in your heart. This is the Benedictine tree of divine aspiration. About this saying, as I was bringing it down, it lost some beauty. Can Maharaja explain about it, how and why it is lost?
Can I see that?
Yes.
Anatanya anite brikka e karkash mon nashilo ihar shobha shobha shuno sadhujan tomara sakala hawaii brikyera mali Shraddha Baridiya Punakoro Rupashali. What comes to mind, taking it that it must be consistent with what has been expressed, even by the Lord Himself in Gita, Bhagavad Gita, Urva Gita, and the Bhagavatam. and other places, and consistent with what is expressed by Srila Guru Maharaj. Like in Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajosho vidu sakalaneha naha yoga nashta parantava. And in the Bhagavatam, Krishna speaking to Uddhava, and Guru Maharaj drawing attention to the two words Prakriti by Chitra and Parampar Jena. So Prakriti by Chitra, he calls, refers to the what does he call it? Individual temperament. So he says, for example, when Brahma is instructing his sons and disciples, that truth is being modified by individual temperament. Now, depending upon who is that individual, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. In other places, like the Baladev Vidyabhushan's praise of Rupa and Sanatan, Govinda Viramandira Sirapadam Hastasti Ratnadivat, saying in their palm is the jewel Govinda. And as one would rotate a jewel, then there would be coruscating flashes of brilliance or illumination, revelation. So Rupa showing in one way, Sanatana in another way. So that's on a very high and wonderful thing, just to give credence to the other side. But that's not what's being referred, why Krishna is mentioning that in the Gita or in Uddhava Gita in the Bhagavatam, and why Guru Maharaj draws attention to it. When he's saying the truth, when it's received, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur also deals with this in his Bhagavad speech. He said, Guru Maharaj says, modified by individual temperament. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that it is, he goes so far as to say it is gradually converted into error, to take it to an extreme degree. Right. Modified by individual temperament to the point of where the truth is no longer the truth. It may become half-truth or falsity in time. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so we say, well, that's depressing. But I found when I was a teenager reading Bhagavad Gita, when I got to this part where he's saying, I originally delivered this to the sun god, and in the course of time, it turned into something else. And yoga nashta parantapa, in the sense, means that the link was broken. Right? Like we know, when you lose your link, you're no longer receiving properly. So I thought at the time that this answers many questions, and I was encouraged to hear that it wasn't being put forth that here's this truth and it can never be tarnished, or it will always and only be this way. And but rather it was being acknowledged, and early on, that this possibility is there. And actually, and it must be there. I think we can understand it individually in our own lives or connection with Krishna consciousness, but also collectively. So, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this is why fresh revelation is necessary. Right? So it will not only be that so many thousands of years ago, right, that something was revealed or the truth was revealed, and not much since then. Right? 5,000 years ago or 500 years ago. Right? But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that if it is modified to the point where it's lost or losing its spiritual substance, or lost its spiritual substance, or become counterfeit spiritual substance, so many things are possible, then new revelation becomes necessary. So that tells us that it is the responsibility of each generation to come to the fore and make a contribution and keep things on track, on course. Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself is a major course correction in this line. And again, we find after Mahaprabhu, gradually it went off. Right? And who was it? Totaram Das Babaji identified, 12, 13, 14 Sahajiya Sampradayas, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur accepted his analysis. And we could say that was at that time, and now there may be hundreds of identifiable strains of Sahajiyaism. So before and during the appearance of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but around that time, Vaishnavism was tarnished, and that's putting it mildly. They were in utter disregard by people of dignity. So many objectionable things were going on in the name of Krishna culture. And it's Guru Maharaj and his, that Bhaktivinoda Viraha Dwadasakam, one of the Dharmas, Charma, I forget how it goes, but a line that begins like that. He's identifying how things had gone off, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur restored the line. So, I can only think along these lines. This is what comes to my mind hearing that. That fresh revelation is continually necessary to restore the truth to its former position. And we might also consider that it's a very delicate matter, like a delicate fruit, bringing that down into this plane. There's certain risks involved. And that's also consistent with no less than Sukadeva Goswami in the Bhagavatam. We're told at the time of Parikshit Maharaj's imminent departure, right, and it's cursed to die within 7 days, that all the great sages of the universe have assembled. And that means representing all the various lines of spiritual practice and teachings. Okay. And we're told that each one, they're giving advice on the basis of what was helpful to them. That makes it bona fide or in good faith. That what helped you in good faith, you can recommend that to another. But for Parikshit Maharaj, he said, I have 7 days and all of you are giving different recommendations. And it would seem that each one of those warrants a lifetime of pursuit, practice. Right? And I have 7 days. So if you could all get together and present a unanimous verdict how I should proceed. So right there, that tells us that there are varieties of understanding, right? And different means or methods to approach truth, the ultimate truth, the absolute truth. But so he asked them to get together and come present to him a unanimous verdict. And it's at that time that Sukadeva Goswami arrived on the scene. Right? And I remember personally, when I was reading this, I bought this book from the Bhagavatam, the so-called brown volumes, from a bookstore in North Beach in San Francisco. And it described the beauty of Sukadeva Goswami and this 16-year-old boy who was like Krishna-like in beauty and totally naked, appearing as though a mad urchin, nothing to do with the world. And it leads up to the point of Parikshit Maharaj asking the question, and then you're waiting to hear Sukadeva Goswami's answer. And after the question is asked, it says, thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the, And I was going, oh, this can't be true. After all this big build-up, like, here's the question. You tell me, the answer is not in this volume. So I went to a bookstore, back to the bookstore where I got that one, and I was saying, like, do you have the next volume? Which would have been second canto, chapter 1, which, if you were in ISKCON, that was printed as a chapter, and there was some delays in the printing. And he was saying, no, I don't have it. I go like, no, you must have it. And it's getting a little heated, the discussion. So I'm madly searching these shelves. I'm trying to find the next volume because this was like the ultimate tease leading up to, like, here's the question, and then thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the, whatever, 13, I forget which chapter it was. But then that chapter was printed, of course. I think it was called The First Step in God Realization. As a little chapter before the whole book could be printed. But Sukadeva Goswami tells him that the question you're asking is not only beneficial for you, but it's beneficial for everyone. This is the question that should be asked. Not just one of many questions that can be asked, but this is the question for you to ask and for everyone to hear. You'll benefit from hearing what the answer is, but everyone will benefit. Because he said, what is the duty of one in life, but specifically for one who is about to die? But we know, in theory and practice, we're all about to die. Today, tomorrow, we don't know when, but we're all on the list or in the group. So, and this Sukadeva Goswami, who's legendary, and think of the circumstance, all these great sages, as Gurudev would sometimes say, with their big beards, they have big long beards, and they're very old and dignified and senior in every way imaginable. And some of them we can't even fathom how old they are. They've elected a 16-year-old boy to the presidential seat of the assembly. Why do they do that? It's mentioned there. Prabhupada will say that they were experts in the arts of physiognomy, which means even physically he looked spiritually advanced. Generally, we wouldn't put much credence in just how somebody looks or what their bodily features are. But they're in various Vedic literatures, there are descriptions of this, even the physical symptoms of somebody who is extraordinarily spiritually advanced. And he's showing all that. They can recognize that in him. And he's legendary. Legendary in the sense, son of Veda Vyas, but did not come out of the womb of his mother for 16 years. So he came out at 16, fully developed and liberated. That he was never under the influence of Maya. So unlike them, his recommendation is not something that helped him overcome the mundane. He was never under the influence of the mundane. So for various reasons, they offered him that seat. And Guru Maharaj would sometimes say, in the audience are Veda Vyas and Narada, who we can say are his guru and param guru. Right? So why are the gurus listening to the disciple? Guru Maharaj said, they're thinking, what we gave to him, it's going to come out with some new light and a new way. They're very eager to hear that. It's going to take new color, new shape, new form. So they also want to hear, even though he's their disciple and grand disciple, they want to hear what he will say. And by way of introduction, it says, Parinishthitopi Nargunye Uttamasloka Lilaya Grihita Cheta Rajar se Akyanam Yadaditavan. So he acknowledges, as was known to them, he said, I was situated in the Nirguna plane. That means this world is Triguna. Nirguna is Trigun Atita, beyond Triguna. Triguna meaning Tamagun, Rajagun, Sattvagun. Saying, so I was already situated in the Nirgun plane, right? At least in the general sense. Right? He's saying, but then Uttamasloka Lilaya. One of Krishna's names is Uttamasloka. Sometimes people wonder, why so much emphasis or interest in slokas? Actually, you can make a case that Krishna is that. And one of his names is Uttamasloka, like the best slokas, the highest slokas. It's his name. And we know he has many names. And I was saying the other day, somebody saying make up your mind, pick one of them. That wouldn't suffice for Krishna. Because he's infinite, he has all these different names that highlight some particular quality or characteristic of his. So one of his names is Uttamasloka. And Sukadeva Goswami says, Uttamasloka Lilaya, Grihita Chet. So I heard these superior song poetic expression of what? The pastimes of Krishna. And more specifically, he means the pastimes of Srimati Radharani and the Braja Gopis. Their pastimes with Krishna. You see? And I was carried away to another world that I didn't know existed previously. So, this is peculiar. And we could say twice it's peculiar that Sukadeva Goswami, who is the epitome of brahmacharya, that would almost be an insult. Right? He's trigunatita, nirgun established, etc. Right? But just for starters, the epitome of brahmacharya. How do we know that? Beyond that, right? He's not a practicing brahmachari, he's situated in nirguna plane. That it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam. And we should know, everything that's given there is not, it's not a random collection of divine anecdotes that we can sift through from time to time, find something that resonates and hear that or read that. But it has a structure to it. So before, what appears to be an anecdote or a small incident is actually pivotal for us to understand. So we're told that when Sukadeva Goswami leaves the ashram of Vedavyas, that he goes by a pond where it says the Dibya Devis are bathing, these sort of divine ladies, and they're bathing naked. Right? And when Sukadeva Goswami goes by, they don't bother to cover themselves. And Vedavyas, who's chasing after Sukadeva, it's a very moving passage when he says, "Oh, my son," you know, it says, "Only the trees echoed in response." Right? A hint of a separation. He cried out, "Oh, my son," and only the trees echoed in response. Right? But and he comes by the same place, and then the women, they're covering themselves. And he notices that and says, "Why? I don't understand. When he came by, you didn't bother to cover yourselves. I'm Vedavyas, you know, Mahabharata, the Puranas, you know, I'm Vedavyas," and you cover yourself. And they're saying, yes, because in him, we didn't see trace amount of male gaze in his eyes. Not even a trace. And anything beyond that, you're left to conjecture yourself. They covered themselves before Vedavyas, but not Sukadeva. Sukadeva was on such a level. So, and why is this pivotal? Because it must establish that he has not only no interest, it's as if unaware of the male, interaction between male and female does not register in him. We could say someone practicing brahmacharya, they're trying to avoid that, or that sort of remembrance, or he's not like, that's not what they're saying. He's not like that. It doesn't register in him at all. Right? He's on that level. He's established in the nirgun plane. Right? So, why is that important? Is because he will be the loudspeaker, not only for Srimad Bhagavatam, but in particular the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and the Braja Gopis. So that such a person says, when I heard these pastimes of Radha and Krishna and Braja Gopis, my consciousness, my core, was carried away to another world that I didn't know existed previously. So it tells us that world is divine in nature, and this sort of loving exchange is divine in nature. It has nothing to do with the relationships of men and women of this world. And that's why he's selected. Right? Because you can see it would prejudice the case if it were some devotee, overt devotee of Radha and Krishna, and they're telling all these things. And of course they are, they're prejudiced. Or someone less qualified. Same case, and Mahaprabhu, why, as I mentioned this the other day, if Mahaprabhu is coming to Radha Bhavaduti Subalita to embrace the position of Srimati Radharani, why doesn't he appear as a female? Wouldn't that be more sensible? He's going to embrace, everything is about the supreme female. He wants to embrace her position, but he doesn't descend as a female. Because it would be taken that these are mundane feminine sentiments. And not only that, he comes as a male, but not only a male, he becomes a sannyasi. They're forbidden to even think of these things. And he is thinking of the divine erotic pastimes of Radha, Krishna, and the Braja Gopis nonstop. So is he violating the principles of the sannyas ashram by always meditating on these things? So it is to make clear that it is not that. Just as Guru Maharaj said, Srila Saraswati Thakur, as Madhva had a work called the Mayavad Shatadushini, 100 Faults of Mayavad. Srila Saraswati Thakur has a work entitled the Prakrita Rasa Shatadushini, 100 Flaws of Prakrita Sahajyasam. Right? And there, everything ends, in Bole na, deo na, everything ends on no, not, never. Every line ends like that. So Guru Maharaj said, he spilled 100 gallons of blood to show what it is not. So then you think like, why? Why all this emphasis on what it is not? To make it abundantly clear what it is. Otherwise, you may take it to be any one of these innumerable things that it is not. 13, 14 Sahajya lines, what it is not, counterfeit substance. But that said, just as a backstory, so Sukadev, who's eminently qualified to be the vehicle, the loudspeaker, to broadcast Madhura Rasa, and which arguably from a relative position would be the most qualified people throughout the universe assembled, right? And they cannot digest what they hear. What to speak of others? Think of who they are and what their qualifications are. When they hear this from Sukadeva Goswami, and he's being as delicate as he can and presenting it and cautious. Right? So how much so? We're told that the divine name of Srimati Radharani is not mentioned in the Bhagavatam. And what does Guru Maharaj say in his sloka? Yadamiya mahima sri bhagavatam katayam pratipadam anubhutam apya labdabideya tarakila rasamurti shyamalila avalambam madhura rasadi sri radha pada padmam prapadye. That although her name is not mentioned, actually every step of the way, every sloka is meant to take us ultimately in the direction of the service of her holy lotus feet, upon which Shama Lila, Madhura Rasa, is utterly dependent upon. Without her, there isn't any. There is nothing. Right? And not only that, we think, oh, it goes from, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhura. Rather, it's coming the other way, we can also conceive. As Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur says in the beginning of the book, Janmadhyasya yataha, adi, janma adi, sometimes means etc. He says, and this is Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's expertise, he says, here, this adi means adi rasa, madhura rasa, mukhya rasa. That everything comes from that. Everything. As Guru Maharaj said, Vatsalya rasa, Sakya rasa, etc. are satellites. Clients is another word he used. Clients of Madhura rasa. They exist, in a sense, to contrast Madhura rasa, to support Madhura rasa. Satellites, clients. Adi rasa is the original. Right? So another way of saying this, from Radha and Krishna, everything is coming. And that's more to the point. Everything. First of all, there is one thing we should understand clearly. There is nothing other than Krishna. There is no non-Krishna zone in actuality. We pretend, and boy, are we good at pretending. You could almost believe it. Or what did that poet Browning say? I want to go to when he was so depressed, I want to go to a place and be so forgotten about that even God doesn't remember me or know where I am. Understand the feeling, but not going to happen. Andantarastam paramanu chayantarastam. He's everywhere and everything. When Guru Maharaj's relative thought that he was a little too detached for a child and too under the influence of scriptural knowledge, and like at a very early age he's showing these tendencies, and he thought to break him, put him in his place, by quoting like some of the latest scientific findings. And he said, there are some, stars, they're so far away, and light travels at 176,000 miles per second, or in kilometers, time 1.6, 350. 300,000. All right, 300,000. I stand corrected. So 300,000 kilometers per second, so far away, and their light hasn't even reached us. We're so small. If there was a God, would he care anything about us? And did you read what Robert Browning said about being forgotten? That even God will forget me. We're so tiny, so small, so far away. Why should he care? And on top of it all, we've forgotten him or turned away from him. So should he really? And Guru Maharaj, as all good devotees, the Ishopanishad, tad ejati, tad naijati, tad dure, tad antike, taru sarvasasya bhayata. There's another line. Huh? Tarantrasta taru sarvasya bhayataha. So he's quoting the Ishopanishad to his uncle, and he said, yes, you're right, tad dure, He's very far away. You're right. It would seem like when we're so insignificant, why should he care? Or be aware of us, even. Tarantike, Taru Sarvasashabha. He's within everything. So Guru Maharaj said, is there a place where God is not? You're saying he's very far away. In one sense, that is true. We know other slokas saying, what's separating us from our nearest and dearest? Binod bole hai hai haridas harinahi pai. Who's my most dear. As much as we can imagine someone being dear, and we do. But if we can understand truly who is most dear to us, and can't get a read, can't find, where is Krishna? So, and hi, means he's, what is this situation? Who should be most dear and most near to me? I can't find anywhere. Vinod bole hi haridas harinahi pai. I can't get. But Guru Maharaj said, so, you're true, he's very far away, but it says, Tarantike, he's very near as well, he's within everything. Andantarastam paramano chayantarastam. So is there any place where God is not? So, there is nothing other than Krishna. It's not like, there's Krishna here, and then there's like other stuff that you shouldn't even know about. But it appears so. Like Guru Maharaj said about our situation. A part of the perfect appears to be imperfect. Nobody's perfect. A part of the perfect appears to be imperfect. So from a relative point of view, we can talk about non-Krishna, converting non-Krishna into Krishna. Right. But really, everything is either directly or indirectly Krishna. And that Krishna, when we say Krishna, we have to always remember, he is not alone. Right? Krishna alone is a very distant conception of Krishna. But up close and personal, he is not alone. Sajjan Toshini. When Saraswati Thakur was publishing The Harmonist in the inaugural issue, because that was an English title, and then he made reference to the Sajjan Toshini of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he said, and explaining that, you have to express in the inaugural issue your purpose, your target. So he's saying, like Sajjan Toshini means, he said, Sat Jan Toshini. Satjan means those, well, we should say first, what is Sat? So he says, Sat, the supreme absolute truth. He said, Krishna is not alone the absolute truth. And this is highly contextual, because we say, Ishvara Parama Krishna, of course, like that. But he's saying that Krishna, that Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam Krishna, he's not by himself, is what he means. So Sat means Radha and Krishna together, right? And they are inseparable. Everything comes from them. That's the good news. That means there's some prospect. They are Sat, and Sajjan means whom they consider their own. That's very interesting. That tells us many things that we need to know. Whom they consider their own. Not by our estimation, right? Faulty estimation, misreading, so many things. who do they consider their own? Right? Whom do they consider their own? That is the sajjan, and so he's saying, sajjan toshini, we want to please them. Vaishnavi pratishta tate koro nishta. Yes, we should concern ourselves with whose opinion matters. Their opinion matters, whom they consider their own. Right? So why did I say that? You have to go back.
Harmonist.
No,
Sajjan
Sukadev.
toshini, poet.
No,
Poet
I know
Robert
why.
Browning. Okay.
Yeah. So, those sages, when I said why Radharani's name is not mentioned, and that book, which we say, the book of Krishna, is meant to take us in the direction of the service of her holy lotus feet. Because that's when you have substantial connection with Krishna. Right? No one can give more Krishna than she. Right? Krishnamoyi, to the extent that Guru Maharaj said, where she cast her glance generates Krishna. And in terms of considering other things, right, that do exist, it's one thing to consider things that don't exist. That's just bad form. You know? But even what does exist, like in the case of Narayana Vaikuntha, what are we told? That the Krishna, ever trying to bring out Gopi Bhav. Right? He played a trick on the Braja Gopis, hid himself from them, they're searching for him, and when they think they see him in a kunja and start making their way towards him, he pushes out 2 more arms and becomes 4-armed Narayan. And what Rupa Goswami says, remember, these are not just stories. It's reality, and it's informing us important things we need to know about reality, not just a cute story that Rupa Goswami decided to tell. Okay. So when the Braja Gopis find Narayan, Vaikuntha Narayan, right? Like back to the 60, 64, Vaikuntha Narayan, right? They cannot an expectation of Krishna. They cannot conceal their disappointment. Right? So what to speak of like other religions? You know? Right? They're with Vishnu, Narayan, of Lakshmi and Narayana. They're actually with Krishna, but because he's showing a Narayan form, they're disappointed. Who are they? These girls. They're teenage girls. I mean, that would seem to really be rude, arrogant. Like, he's not good enough? Not for them. Vaikuntha Narayan is not good enough for them. Who are they that they can't conceal these kind of feelings? They can't conceal the disappointment they experience when they're in expectation of Krishna and Narayan, of Vaikuntha. And they're like, Namo Narayan, we know that you are omniscient. Do you know where Krishna is? You must know, you're omniscient. You're the Lord of Vaikuntha. We're looking for Krishna, and perhaps you could help. Give an indication with your 4 arms which way he went. And then you think, oh, all right, that's wonderful. But again, it's revealing something to us. So that's what I'm saying. When Guru Maharaj says things like, if you're too much attached to Vidhi Marg, then you'll be hurled down to Vaikuntha. And I remember one of our senior devotees saying on Gurudev's veranda about that, like, oh Maharaj, we don't have that problem. We're not too attached to Vidhi Marg. We're not suffering from that. But Das Goswami is saying that. What standard, from which standard is that true? Knowing that it is true, and telling us there is such a standard, a plane where that is true. And when you're trying to bring that plane down into this world, how merciful is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur to do that. But if it's not from his point of view, but if others misperceive that and it appears to be tarnished in some way on account of the misperception, we understand. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur always has a message of hope by saying, no, but under the care, guidance, the affectionate guidance of the sadhus, the full beauty can be revealed. But, so those gopis, Krishna played that trick upon them. But Rupa Goswami doesn't leave it there. So Krishna tried to play the same trick with Srimati Radharani. And when she would look at him, the two arms would go back into his body and he could only be Krishna. Therefore, Krishnamaya, where she casts her glance, it's as if she generates Krishna. Right? So, no one can deliver more quantity, a higher quantity or quality of Krishna than her. So Sri Radha Padasevanamritam Aho Tadatum Isho Bhavan. Guru Maharaj is saying, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is your gift to the world. Radha Dasyam, and is the aspiration of all Gaudiya Vaishnavas. But those sages, when they're thinking, you told us in the beginning, right, that Devarshi Narada came to the ashram of Veda Vyas. Veda Vyas was feeling very despondent and wondering, gave Mahabharata, compiled all these scriptures. Why should he feel like that? He'd done such great service to the world. Why is he feeling so despondent? And Narada told them, because in Guru Maharaj's word, you're a traitor to the cause. Like, what? The great Veda Vyasa? What did you do? You gave the people religion. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. No, inadvertently, it wasn't your intention, but you gave them religion in such a way as they think, religion is a way to live happily in this world. Right? Follow these rules, these recommendations, adopt this type of behavior, and you can live happily in this world. Right? Saying, then who will be interested to give it up and enter the actual world, of whom this world is but a perverted reflection? No one. And it's only you, Vedavyas, who can correct us. Because if it were to come from someone else, I mean, you're Vedavyas. So all they have to do is say, are you a greater authority than Vedavyas? We follow him. And you're telling us something different than what he said. So we reject it. So he's saying, it can only come from you. And what in essence, what do you have to do? And this is the point where the sages are somewhat bewildered by. Saying, now you have to tell people of this world that actually real liberation just doesn't mean freedom from negativity and stasis in some sort of neutral plane, but entrance into the positive domain, where Sukadeva said, I heard about Radha and Krishna and I was carried away to a world I didn't know existed previously. You have to tell them about that world, and it's in that world where they have all this prospect of loving relationship. Why Madan Mohan is the Sambandhagyan deity of Sanatana Goswami? Because Cupid, Madan, has a stranglehold on the heart of everyone in this world. Soon we're going to hear those lizards. I know they're coming. You know, the Tokay. Thais hear Tokay. American ear hears, uh-oh. And that's the mating call. Cupid has a stranglehold on every living being in this world. This is where Freud got it right. That Eros is the primal principle that's like, makes the world go round, right? It makes it spin, really. This is it's the driving force, the driving principle behind everything. It's true. But he saw that in some analytical way of the perverted reflection of the original. And what is true, janmadyasya yataha, it's the driving principle of spiritual existence. What is that? Madhura rasa. It's the original source of everything. And that's good news. That's an inconceivably good news. But Madan has that stranglehold on Jiva at present. And what are we told in Bhagavatam? Vidite hridaya granti chidyante sarva samshaya chiyante chasyakarmani mayidriste akilatmani. That hearing these pastimes of Krishna, right, the Uttama Sloka Lila, can cut the knots, release the stranglehold that lust has upon the heart. So, Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvasva Sarvasya Padambojo Sri Radha Madana Mohano. Madan Mohan, Krishna, Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham, that Krishna, who's more beautiful and has more seductive charm than 10 million cupids personified, he can break the stranglehold that Madan has upon the heart. That's why his first deity. And then Govinda Gopinath. But it's saying, that it's indicating, Guru Maharaj said this, it's indicating that this is going in a particular direction. And that's all that's needed to be understood at present. As we once saw in the Gaudiya Math pamphlet, the title was The Erotic Principle in Unalloyed Devotion. And I could say, many people opened up that pamphlet and read it and were probably disappointed. I thought they were going to find something else there. And they realized, this is really dense and heavy. Yeah, to get to that point. That's why Guru said, Saraswati Thakur, he doesn't leave a pinprick through which any misunderstanding can pass, right, about this divine subject. But, as Gurudev would say, we don't deny it. You should at least know where it goes, what it is. But Saraswati Thakur, how perfectly, cautiously, carefully, he is taking everyone from the stranglehold that Madan has upon the heart to that sort of divine prospect. Muktir hadvanyata rupam swarupena vivastiti. So, but these sages, to summarize, they're saying, so, in the beginning you told us the bad thing Veda Vyas did, that Devarshi Narada chastised them for, was he gave religion to the world. Right? Because people are going to use religion to stay bound, not to get liberated. And now you're telling us that these pastimes of Radha and Krishna that appear to be immoral or irreligious, that's the new religion. Right? That's the religion that will save everyone. We're confused. And then Sukadev, some famous slokas he quotes about Shiva drinking an ocean of poison to give the cautions. Unless you can digest that, then don't think that you can digest these things. That and the one about Ishwaras, which basically says, please turn that off. That basically says, do as I say, not as I do. That we should follow the advice of the Ishwaras, but not imitate their behavior. So anyway, it's a long way from Janmad Yasya Yataha, the first sloka of the Bhagavatam, to Sukadeva in the second canto, and all the way up to the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam to reach that position. But it's mentioned in the Prayojan Tattva Sloka. Nigama kalpataror galitam palam shukamukharam ritadrava samyatam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. If you want to really examine, you say Kalyan Kalpataru, this Kalpataru, the Veda, compared to a Kalpataru, means there's a wish fulfilling tree. Every possible wish or desire you have can be met there, fulfilled. Spiritual and mundane. Right? The whole spectral range of what you could wish for. Veda has a prescription for that. But perhaps Sridhar Swami, Guru Maharaj is going. So Veda is like Kalpataru, this wish-fulfilling tree. Then the flower comes from that, like what we could call floral essence. Right? That is known as Vedanta. Right? Means it has the essence of what is there, but it's not in full expression. But the flower gives way to the fruit. And so at the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, he's saying, this Bhagavatam, this is the fully ripened fruit, right, of the Kalpataru of Vedic literature. Right? Listen to the words, Nigama Kalpataru, Nigama Kalpataru Galitampalam Shuka Mukharam Rita Dravasamyatam. And Sukadev, he's relishing this, tasting this, Pi Bata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam, this Bhagavatam, which is full of this nectarine rasa, substance of Madhura Rasa, Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. And the actual relishers, the actual rasaks and bhavuks, they will relish this repeatedly, this divine substance. Madchita madgata prana boryanta parasparam katayan chastamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. As if they're feasting and relishing this divine substance, and even how do you say, Ramanti, the eros. So, how to bring that down into this world is inconceivable. And so many things that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is his gift to the world to bring people. It seems so understated to say, to save the fallen souls. That is a wonderful thing. To save them from something, but to bring them in connection with something else that's inconceivably wonderful and beyond our imaginations, beyond what we could wish for or hope, to know, to wish or hope for. But it's actually in the core of all of our hearts, what we've always been hankering for. The point will come when we will realize we have always and only been hankering for this, as we perceive it's being more fully expressed. And it's only fully expressed and realized in Krishna conception. And that means Radha Krishna conception. Radha and Krishna, Lalita Vishaka, Nanda Yashoda, Sridham Sudam, the cows, the Juman, everything, Vrindavan. Radha Padman Kitadam Vrindavan Dharanam. Because what is Vrindavan but the soil that is the Chinmoy soil that is embellished with the holy lotus footprints of Srimati Radharani. Sri Radha Parasevanamritamaho Taddatami Shobha. Oh, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is your gift to the world. And when Srila Saraswati Thakur read this line in Guru Maharaj's poem, he just saw it and said, Goswami Maharaj, he said, who wrote this? He found it so charming, attractive, and substantial and revealing. And Goswami Maharaj said, Sridhar Maharaj. And Saraswati Thakur said, no, Sridhar Maharaj has not written this. He said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written this through him. That's how perfect it was. And Gurudev would sometimes look at us. The same people, he said, after mixing with you, nothing will surprise me. He said, the only thing that surprises me is that they're chanting Hare Krishna in China. That was a surprise. He said, but after mixing with you, nothing will surprise me. The same Srila Govinda Maharaj, infinitely merciful, said, he would say, you don't know how bright, wonderful, and beautiful is your future. He knows where this goes. He knows the plane of Srila Guru Maharaj and our Guru Varga. Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. That plane, and he's saying, so you're being brought in connection with that. That is utterly worshipable to him. That's why Guru Maharaj said, even a new person we show respect to. They've come in connection with that. And he said, maybe I'm going slowly and they're moving quickly. I want to be in a position to receive their grace. He's not suspicious of them. And Srila Gurudev, he'd always say, I believe in everyone. Sometimes he'd say, that is my fault. I would say, no, Maharaj, that is your merciful quality. He'd say, no, that is my fault. I believe in everyone. He meant until they demonstrate otherwise. But he said, my default position is to believe in everyone. And I thought about that for a long time, and I thought, I would rather be a believer with the possibility of being betrayed or cheated than be my default position as a disbeliever. As Guru Maharaj said, suspicion leads to suspension. Right? This is all about faith, the culture of faith. And as Guru Maharaj said, if what we say is true and this is what we believe, and here's someone who's connecting with that, like when we hear Kaviraj Goswami say how he's like praising the readers of Chaitanya Charitamritam. And I thought, this is peculiar. The author is praising the readers of the book. But from another point of view, it makes perfect sense because he knows what's in this book. And what he's saying is, if you're the kind of person who can appreciate what is here, then I take the dust from your feet upon my head. You're worshipable to me. It's something like that. So always they never damage our faith or belief, but always nourish faith and belief. And they know the nature of that plane. And so with the utmost confidence to bring anyone and everyone in connection with that plane, and they're so happy about it. And as Gurudev would say, you don't realize how bright your future prospect is, how wonderful it is. And he said that with total love and affection and appreciation. Hare Krishna. Hari Haraya Namo Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraya Namo Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Garadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhata Dasa Raghunath. Jai Go Jai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jaha Hoite Vignanas Avishta Puran. Jai Go Jai Jar Mui Tarodar. Kantavada Padarenu Mora Panchagras. Kandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas. Janame Janame More Avilas. Jai Go Jai Jabe Baje Koilovas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korilo Prakash. Oh Anande Boro Hadi Braja Vrindavan. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Puriyan. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Puriyan. Hari Nam Sankirtan Koe Narottamadan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo,
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo.
Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo.
Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paribhajaka Acharya Asistara Sati Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Ji Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Go Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Sri Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai. Ganga Devi, Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Vishva Varena Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimala Vidut Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Sri Lekha Didi Ki Jai. Sriman Ajita Krishna Prabhu Ki Jai. Seva Vrinda Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande.
Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Maharaj, Dandavas from all around the world. I truly love and am grateful for his classes and how he presents Krishna consciousness. Robert Grant. I'm also his biggest fan, how he incorporates the modern world with ancient wisdom. Mike Jarvis. Madhavi Didi, Hungary, Debrecen. Dandavas to Guru Maharaja and all devotees. Thank you. Krishna Kanti Didi. Dandavats pranams to Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj and the assembled devotees. And Murari Mohandas. Dandavats Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj. Dandavat pranams to all the assembled devotees. Australia. Sahadevi Jones. Dandavats Maharaj and to all the assembled devotees. Rupa Vilas Dasa. Dandavat pranams from the SCSM Mat Philippines. Dhananjay Das, Dandavat. Maria Eugenia Losada, Dandavat. Dhananjay Das, again Dandavat. Purushottam Das, Dandavat. Dear Goswami Maharaj. Teresa Lorette Demola, Dandavat. Praneshwari Devidas in Florida, USA. Jaini Tai, humble pranams to Maharaj and all the assembled devotees, on site and online. Dandavat pranams from Ivati, Brazil. Rasheshwari Didi. And Rasamrita Devi. Gaura Hari, Gaura Nitai, Dandavats pranam. Queridos devotos.
That sounds very good.
Arthur Villa, Dandavats, Kuladri Das. Purushottam Das, also Dandavats from the Latha devotees.
Lakta?
Lachta.
In St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg, Purushottam Das. And best wishes to all from Teresa Lorette and Demola again. Yeah, that's all.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Hare Krishna. Sarva Bhakta Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Encouraging all these devotees all over the world. Mahaprabhu's plan.